My name is Craig Fisher, and I'll be answering 3 questions, and I will state the question and then answer it right after. Number 1, when were you diagnosed with ADHD? I was diagnosed with ADHD when I was a preteen, so late 6th grade, early 7th grade, so into middle school. It was when I believe I started taking Ritalin when I was diagnosed. The diagnosis was a surprise. I was not aware of the disease before. I wasn't aware of the disorder. I wasn't aware of what it meant. In fact, I had not really heard of it, and that scared me a little bit. But it also, there's just a sense of uncertainty about it. I was not remotely involved in the diagnosis. In fact, I remember vaguely being taken to the doctor and speaking to the doctor about kind of the issues I was having in school, which I thought were minimal at that. I, in fact, didn't believe that I was actually that hyperactive or that I was having any trouble focusing at all. I actually didn't believe that I was hyperactive or had that much trouble focusing at all. When he explained that part of it to me, I disagree with him greatly. But after that, that was the extent of what I knew. That was the extent of the information that was given to me. And then I remember after that, I was just told to take a pill twice a day. A pill that I had no idea what it did to me, and I had no idea what the side effects were, and I was scared to take it. It was also at a time in my life where things were changing for me. I mean, I was a preteen. I was going through puberty. My body was changing, and my life was changing, and I was discovering things about myself that I didn't understand, and so to add this weird thing in that I didn't understand didn't help me, and to have my parents not involve me in that process, and I don't know that they really knew that they should have involved me, and they didn't involve the school, and the doctors didn't involve me either. I mean, they didn't really explain to me. They just kind of handed me the pill and said take it, and assumed that would be the thing that would cure me. And I fought against it as hard as I possibly could. And I fought so hard because I didn't have the knowledge that I should have had going in. Number 2, how did the diagnosis affect you? It just stopped.
My name is Craig Fisher, and I'll be answering 3 questions, and I will state the question and then answer it right after.
Number two, um, how did the diagnosis affect you? Um, like I said before, I was very angry with the whole process. I didn't understand it, and I wasn't involved in it, and so that made me rebel against the entire process in and of itself. It negatively affected the relationships I built with my parents, and it negatively affected my relationships with doctors when I was young. It made me not trust doctors. It made me not trust, the people that I should trust, because they didn't tell me what they should tell me. And I don't know that it negatively affected my relationship with my parents for my entire life, but at that time it definitely made me very upset. And one of the biggest side effects that came with it was sorry, scratch that. Moving on. Edit this out. Part of it. The biggest effect it really had on me was that it made me realize that. Sorry, cut that too. The biggest effect that it had on me is that it kind of made me. It kind of opened up my eyes a little bit. It took the blinders off of my eyes and made me see things a little differently, and made me not trust people in a way that I probably should have trusted people had I been involved in the process and had someone told me and said, hey, these things are going on and we think that this is a problem, how do you feel about this? Or this is what we think, this is what the doctor thinks, what do you think? Or even, this is what the doctor has said, this is what this means, this is what the solution is. Even if that had been the process, then I think things would have been much different. But the biggest effect was that I just didn't trust people. I didn't trust my parents, especially at that time. And that is a crucial time for a developing teen to be able to trust the people around them. And for that to have happened at that time was just really devastating at that time. And it affected me, and in the long term in many ways. I think things are finally starting to get better now as an adult, but for a long time it had lasting effects, and not just medically, but personally and our relationships. And because I was not involved in this process, and I was not made aware of what I was going through. I wasn't told what I was going through myself. No one informed me what was happening to me, or what was supposedly happening to me. And that was the hardest thing to realize, was that I was being shuffled around like I didn't have a voice, or that I didn't have a mind, or that I didn't have an opinion about things, which I did. Which I think is why I rebelled so hard, because I wanted someone to listen to me. I wanted someone to understand how I felt, because I felt that the things that they were saying about me were wrong. I didn't feel as though I was hyperactive. I didn't feel as though I had focus problems. I didn't feel as though all of these things were true. And nobody was listening to what I had to say. And because of that, I felt voiceless. And without a voice, I didn't feel like I could do anything about it. And so then I just fought so hard to make it not happen that, it kind of ruined relationships for me. And that was hard. It was very, very, very hard at the time. So, last question is, how does that affect you now? I think more than anything now, like I said, I think it affected my relationship at the time. I think that it took years and years and years to rebuild those things, those trust issues that were broken with that. Sorry. I think that the effects now are minimal, which is great. As an adult, I think, as I've grown up and gotten older, I think those things have kind of gone away. I think for a while it took some time to build those trust issues back with my parents, and with doctors, and to really understand and find the voice that I had within me. I'm still seeing a therapist. I still go to therapy on a weekly basis, and a lot of times we talk about my lack of self-esteem issues, and I think a lot of that comes from me not feeling as though I had a voice when I was a teenager, and because I wasn't involved in the process of these things like this, I think that led to that ultimately, I think ultimately I've been a successful adult. I run my own small business. I went to college. I went to graduate school. I mean, I have 2 degrees. I think I've made it past the unsuccessful statistic of what it would normally be. I'm happy about that. I'm happy that the relationship part has changed and has made itself better. That part I'm really happy about, but there are still long-term effects of me not being involved in the process of my own mental health when I was a teenager that I can still feel today, and that's a little scary sometimes to think that that's still there and could always be there, because of that one thing, which is why I think it's so important that children and teens are involved in their own health issues, because it's your body, it's your mind, it's you know it more than anyone else. And while yes, you are a child and a teen, your parent knows a lot, and they don't know they don't know the inside of you. They don't know how you feel unless you're so willing to express that. And it's so important that people are involved in that, because without them being involved, without them having a voice for themselves, then they're never going to feel like they have power and control in their lives, and they're always going to feel like they need to fork that over to someone else, and that's not how they should live their life. That's not how I wanted to live my life. So.